Ahoy crew! Let's be honest, this crypto cycle feels kinda weird. Back in 2020, everyone was rushing to buy GPUs and build mining rigs. But just recently, people were obsessively tapping hamsters, building empires, and farming worthless tokens. Anyway, I was doing that too. And now I'm going to share how much I actually made during the tap to earn boom, and whether it's still worth getting into all that. I'll talk only about the projects I personally played with. So, if something is not mentioned here, it just means I never got around to tapping it. The very king that kicked off the screen smashing trend, Notcoin. I didn't jump into this project right away, joined about a month after launch and only with 2 accounts. The concept was super simple. There is a button in the middle of the screen, tap it with your fingers. Occasionally complete some easy tasks and upgrade your tap power using the in-game currency you earned. I can't say I was expecting any real income from this whole thing. It was just something fresh and fun at the time, so I thought, why not? I played it for about 5 months. And then came the long-awaited listing. A lot of people were pleasantly surprised, because the tapped earnings weren't worth just $5 to $7, but on average, each account got $200 to $300. So, on one of my accounts, I farmed $280 and decided to sell everything right away. On the second one, I got about $100 less, mostly because I spent everything on skins and upgrades in the app. Now, of course, it's obvious that was a dumb idea, but back then, I really thought that those upgrades would be the key to getting rewards. In the end, I'd say Notcoin had one of the fattest and most honest airdrops. People still reference it, and even the devs of that mini app haven't been able to repeat its success. To simplify the idea behind this clicker game to the max, imagine the same Notcoin where you need to spam tap a coin and then use the profits to buy some kind of Pokemon-like creatures and send them into battles against other little monsters. Sounds fun? Maybe. But in reality the execution wasn't that engaging, and honestly, no one really wanted to take part in those battles. The devs probably knew that, and in the end, most of the airdrop went to those who actively sent their creatures into fights. Luckily, they didn't drag it out for too long, and the airdrop happened after about 3 months. But things didn't go as smoothly as with the Notcoin. First off, the rewards were based on your level in the game, and they introduced the leveling system literally just a few days before the farming phase ended. As a result, a massive wave of new players joined, and it was almost impossible to log in and level up, even if you wanted to. Second issue, locks. Meaning, you couldn't withdraw your airdrop in full right away. You either had to wait who knows how long for the full unlock or cash out immediately, with a 90% penalty. Both options were terrible, and the community ended up seriously pissed off. Probably the second best airdrop among all the similar games came from dogs. All they really required from us was having a Telegram account, the older the better, and inviting friends to the app. Toward the end they did add daily check-ins, but that was just a minor thing. So, for a super simple grind, one that took maybe half an hour total, during the entire lifespan of the mini app, they give out around $70 on average, even if you barely invited anyone at all. I ended up with a little over $100 on my main account and $70 on the second one, where I had almost no referrals. On top of that, there was a chance to earn around $100 more through a promo campaign from Bybit, so those who run multiple accounts are still swimming in luxury. Sometimes it feels like there isn't a single person in the world who hasn't opened the app at least once and tapped the hamster. Everyone expected an airdrop as good as Notcoins, or maybe even bigger. But the paradox is that it's just not realistic to give out decent money to such a huge number of users. Plus, you can't ignore the greed of the developers either. Even before the token listing, there were already reports of various conflicts with the Hamster Kombat's partners and key influencers, the very people who helped bring attention to the project. Now, all of that is history. If you know, you know. So, I won't waste time on that, and instead, let's talk about the airdrop and how much I actually earned tapping the hamster. I only had one account, and in the beginning, I played pretty actively. Reached level 10, built up a huge hourly income, but the more the listing was delayed and new features added, the more I ignored them. I almost skipped the whole key mechanic, maybe just farmed a bit with a generator, and didn't even try to get to level 11. In the end, after about half a year of playing, I made only $45 from Hamster. Yep, sounds funny, but I know for a fact that many of my friends and followers earned even less. X Empire or Mask Empire is basically a 100% clone of Hamster Kombat, except here you had to level up not a hamster, but Elon Musk himself. At first I wasn't planning to get involved with this game at all, but I was on a trip and bored, so I decided to give this mini-app a shot. And that turned out to be the right call, because for me, X Empire was basically a second Notcoin, or maybe even better, since I earned around $1,000 from it, and that was with just one account. You could say it's just blogger luck, and regular users only make small change. But let's be honest, I don't have some huge audience. In the game, I only had around 70 referrals. Sure, that might sound like a lot, I get it, but most of them were inactive. At best, about 10% of them would log in and play a little now and then. What really made the difference in my profit was my decision not to dump the entire airdrop right away. I split it into parts and sold off gradually as the token price went up. I chose this strategy after learning that the project was led by Alexander Sokolovsky, so I took the risk and sold off only half of my tokens right at listing. Those first seconds of trading netted me $242. I held onto the rest and sold bit by bit later. Even so, I didn't catch the absolute peak and dumped a bit early. I am still happy with that result. At first, I had pretty high hopes for MemeFi. The team was building a metaverse on the Linea blockchain, and there were even rumors that they had backing from the network itself. And Linea isn't some random project, it's the same developers who once created MetaMask, the first cryptocurrency wallet for Ethereum-like networks. Ultimately, the MemeFi team decided to switch things up and move to the Sui blockchain. Hard to say whether that was for better or worse, but it is what it is. The game itself was a clicker, where you had to defeat or rather spam click bosses styled after popular meme icons. Initially, it seemed like an awesome idea, and it did look pretty fun for a while, but then they added slot machines and everything started going south. It immediately became obvious that players willing to spend money had a huge advantage over those who weren't ready to drop a cent. I personally spent about $50 on the game, bought a VIP pass and topped up the slots a few times, but it didn't really bring much profit. In conclusion, I made only $210, and after accounting for my expenses, even less. I dumped all the tokens in the first minutes after listing and never looked back. Who would have thought that a game from the creators of Notcoin would end up being such a flop, especially considering they had an original idea and a track record with launching a successful Telegram mini-app. The whole concept behind NotPixel was that all players shared one huge canvas, where everyone could draw something. Some people created meaningful images and tried to maintain them, while others just messed up others' artwork. Alright, I already covered NotPixel in another video, so if you're interested, just click on the pop-up and check it out. Now let's move on. That was my epic fail. I had way too much faith in it because of the news that it was being backed and supported by the Empire team. And as you remember, I made some solid cash with the Empire. But let's go step by step. In Zoo, the goal was to build your own zoo, or more specifically to buy animals that would generate profit for you. The idea was solid and best of all, it didn't take much time. But of course, there had to be a fly in the soup, because the whole game concept revolved around in-game purchases, and even though I'd only invested small amounts in other games, I have to admit I got carried away here. Hoping to catch an airdrop as good or even better than the one from Empire, I ended up putting a bit over $300 into the game, and unsurprisingly, I didn't even break even. My reward from the game totaled $207, and yeah, that's kinda on me too. I could have sold at a better price, but when I saw that the airdrop value was miles away from what I'd spent, I panicked and decided to swap into stablecoins ASAP, not waiting for the pump that naturally came right after I sold all my tokens. Though if you don't count the final profit in USDT and instead look at it in TON, which I used to make the purchases, then I guess I ended up slightly in the green, since TON had dropped in price by the time I sold my zoo tokens. Way Wallet is an on-chain wallet on the Sui network that decided to launch in the format of a Telegram mini app. If you've been farming Hot Wallet, you can think of Way Wallet as almost a full clone of Hot. At first, just like with the other wallet, all you had to do was collect your accumulated points from time to time, while gradually upgrading your point mining speed and storage capacity. But as expected, that wasn't enough for the devs. They introduced another type of points, which you could only earn through swaps, basically exchanging one crypto for another. The transaction fees were insane, so the question of who is farming who was very relevant. But hey, once you're in the boat, you've got no choice but to row. Thankfully, at that time, my liquidity pools on Sui were generating solid returns, so I could afford it. But in the end, the airdrop didn't quite live up to the expectations. Since the devs decided to split the rewards into 5 parts and distribute just 1/5 every month, my first batch of tokens was worth just $13 at listing. I decided not to stress and stake the assets instead. Maybe that was a dumb move, but I've seen most Sui projects shoot up eventually. So who knows, maybe it'll work out in the long term. If I sum up the income from all the mini apps on a single account, after deducting donation expenses, I've made around $1,500 over the course of about a year and a half. And in my opinion, the whole clicker trend has run its course. I'm planning to finish up a few projects I joined earlier, but that's it. It's very unlikely I'll be getting into any new Telegram mini apps. Naturally, if you're still into tapping, go for it. But in 2025 there are way better schemes than farming pixel dust with your finger. If you're curious about them, welcome to my Telegram, where I share all this stuff completely free. Just scan the QR code and join our crew. This video is more like a time capsule of events. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, tap that like and subscribe button, just like in the good old days. And hey, drop a comment sharing your best or worst airdrop from a Telegram game. For a convenient crypto trading experience, I also recommend creating an account on Bybit, a centralized exchange that has been operating since 2018 and consistently ranks among the top 3 in the industry. So, here is the best part. Register using my link, make $100 deposit and get a chance to win up to 1025 USDT. You can find the link in the description of the video, or simply download the app on your phone and enter the referral code CAPCRYPTO. Thanks for watching the video till the end. Good luck, crew. Full speed ahead to profits. See ya.